Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Jenna Sass. This is a general practice, also known as a Soma Sequence. Today I'll be using my yoga mat, obviously, and 2 blocks, a yoga blanket, and I'll also have a belt handy. So please grab your tools and join me on your mat. We'll start at the top of the mat first for some sun salutations. We'll do 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar A, followed by 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar B. So standing with your feet together, soften your eyes, relax all the muscles in your face. Tailbone down, engage your core muscles, knit your ribs together. Feel all 4 corners of your feet underneath you. Pull your kneecaps up. Engage all the muscles in your legs. Shoulders down. Stand tall. Take a deep breath here. And a nice slow exhale back out through your nose. Perhaps one more. Inhale. And exhale. And either keeping your eyes soft or opening them if you'd prefer. Let's take a big inhale up, sweeping your arms up, palms together. Arda Namaskar, and exhale, forward fold at the waist, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, long spine, Arda Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Let's step back into plank. On this first one, let's drop our knees, engage your core, tuck your elbows in as you lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale up, Cobra Bhujangasana, and exhale, hips back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Let's hold for 3 breaths. Deep inhale, and exhale. Pushing the floor away with the heels of your hands, reaching your hips to the wall behind you, lengthening your spine. And one more breath. As you exhale, come up on your toes, shift your weight forward to step to the front of your mat again, feet together. Inhale, half lift, Arda Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep those arms all the way up, engage your core, palms together again, Arda Namaskar, and exhale, hands down by your thighs, Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, long spine, Arda Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, step or jump back into plank. If you want to, drop your knees again. Otherwise, tuck those elbows in, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, curl up, cobra, or thighs off the mat, upward dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. 3 deep breaths. Inhale. And exhale, calm your mind. Inhale. And exhale. Pushing the floor away. One more. And exhale, bend your knees to shift your weight. Step or float to the front of your mat again. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep those arms up, engage your core all the way up. And exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. And 2. And 1. exhale, shift your weight forward, step or float to the front of your mat again. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up, Urdhva Namaskar, palms together. And exhale, Tadasana. Moving on, 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar B. Take a deep breath here in Tadasana. And exhale. Again, tailbone down, engage your core. Bend at the knees, sit your hips down, and bring your arms up in front of you for chair pose. Engage your core. Utkatasana, and exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana again. Inhale, half lift, Arda Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Stepping back into plank again. Drop your knees if you prefer. Chaturanga Dandasana. As you exhale. Inhale, curl up, Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, that right leg up and forward between your hands. Turn your back, heel in, as you lift your chest into Veerabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Push that left hip forward, pull your right hip back. And exhale, hands down to the mat. Step your right leg back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, curl up, Bhujangasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back, downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left leg up and swing that foot in between your hands. Turn your back heel in. Inhale, lift your chest. Pull your right hip forward, pull your left hip back. Exhale, hands down, step your left leg back this time. Chaturanga Dandasana again. Inhale, curl up. Exhale, hips back. Downward dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more breath. Exhale, shift your weight forward, step or float to the front again. Inhale, half lift, Arda Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Utkatasana. Again, chair pose. Pull your belly in, tailbone down, lengthen those arms. And exhale, standing tall, arms down by your side, mountain pose, Tadasana. And again, round 2. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Arda Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold, step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, curl up. Exhale, hips back, downward dog. Right leg up again, step that foot between your hands, turn your back heel in, lift your chest, Warrior 1, Veerabhadrasana 1. And exhale, hands down, step your right leg back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, curl up. Exhale, hips back, downward dog. Left leg up and swing that foot between your hands. Turn your back heel in, lift your chest, Virabhadrasana 1 again. Bend that knee 90 degrees if you can. Exhale, hands down. Step your left leg back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, curl up. Exhale, hips back, downward dog. Good. Let's take 3 breaths here. Calm your mind, relax the muscles in your face. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, shift your weight forward, bend your knees, step or float to the front. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, squeeze those thighs together, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, mountain pose, Tadasana. Last time. Inhale, chair pose, bend those knees, sit your hips down. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale back, downward dog. Right leg up, Veerabhadrasana 1. And exhale. Step back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale. Exhale back, downward dog. Left leg up, step it forward. Veerabhadrasana 1 again, on the left side. And exhale down. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, curl up. Exhale back, downward dog. Push the floor away. Take 3 more breaths. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. And exhale. Bend your knees. Step or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose again, Uttanasana. And exhale, stand straight. Palms down by your thighs. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Take a deep breath. And now that we're warmed up, we'll start with a standing pose section. So reorient yourself on your mat so you're facing the long edge of your mat. And let's come back to Tadasana for a moment. Feet underneath you, all 4 corners of your feet. Feel the earth. Lift your kneecaps, engage your thighs. Engage your core, tailbone down. Shoulders down, palms down by your thighs. Reach for the floor with your fingertips and grow tall out of the crown of your head. Maybe soften your eyes here if you prefer. Deep breath. Let's take 2 more breaths. Calm your mind, relax all the muscles in your face. And from there, moving on to tree pose. That's Jake. Never mind him, he just loves to do yoga with me. So coming into tree pose, starting on your left leg, turn your right knee out and bring that right foot either up low on your leg, or if you're comfortable with it, all the way up to your inner thigh. Squeeze the base of your foot and your inner thigh together, hips squared, belly in, tailbone down. Nice straight leg, root yourself into the floor. And bring your palms together. Press your palms together, shoulders down, open your chest. And either take 3 breaths here, or if you're comfortable with it, you can reach those arms up to the sky. And if you'd like to move on even further, open your branches, shoulders down, reach those fingers away. 1 more breath. And exhale, release. Bring your right foot back down to the floor. If you'd like, shake out your toes. And when you're ready, other side. Leaving your right foot down, turning your left foot out. Bring it up to a comfortable spot, but not on your kneecap. We want to protect our knees. Belly in, tailbone down, hips squared. Press that foot against your thigh. Press your thigh against your foot. Deep breath. Root that right foot into the floor. Press your palms together. Open your heart, shoulders down. And either stay here for 3 more breaths, Or if it's in your practice today, you can stretch those arms up towards the ceiling. Perhaps even open your branches. And let's take 2 more breaths. And 1. And release that pose. Bring your foot back down. And shake out those toes. Standing in Tadasana again. Mountain pose. Take a deep breath. And exhale. And either step or jump wide as your wrists, and feet still parallel. We'll go right into Trikonasana, which is triangle pose. Turning your left foot 90 degrees. Turn your right foot in about 45 degrees. Arms still out nice and long, shoulders down. Reach those left fingers away as you shift your right hip back. And folding down to the floor, stack your shoulders, rotate your right shoulder up so you're reaching towards the ceiling. And either just look forward if that's comfortable for you, or if you'd like to, turn your head looking up towards the ceiling. If you can't reach the floor with your left hand, that's okay. You can use your shin or grab a block on the outside of your foot. Give yourself a couple inches of support there. And let's hold for 3 breaths. Root your right foot into the floor. Pull that right hip back. Nice long angle. 1 more breath. And exhale. Reach that right arm up towards the ceiling. Coming back up, turn that left foot back, parallel again. And step or jump back to Tadasana. Take a deep breath. And exhale. And when you're ready, other side, step or jump wide again, as wide as your wrists. This time we'll turn our right foot 90 degrees and turn your left foot in about 45 degrees, still keeping your torso perpendicular to the floor. Then look out over those right fingertips. Reach that hand away as your left hip shifts back and reach down to the floor. Again, either stopping at your shin, but being mindful not to press against your shin and overextending your kneecap. Rotate that left shoulder, reaching up for the ceiling this time. And again, grabbing a block if you prefer on the outside of your right foot here. Let's hold for 3 breaths. Still engaging all those muscles in your legs, engaging your core. And taking a moment to notice the difference between your last side and how this side feels today. Remembering that every day is a different day. Let's reach for the ceiling after that last exhale and pull yourself back up to standing. Turn that right foot back in. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Step or jump your feet together back to Tadasana again. Big breath. And exhale. And maybe a little smile on your face. And when you're ready, we'll move into our next pose, Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. Step or jump your legs wide apart again, as wide as your wrists. Once again, we'll turn that left foot 90 degrees. We'll turn that right foot 45 degrees. Looking out over those left fingertips, long spine, tailbone down, engage that core. Bend that left knee towards the direction of your toes. If you can, at a 90-degree angle. Reach those shoulders away. Take a deep inhale. On your exhale, bending your left elbow, bringing it onto that left thigh, swinging that right arm up towards the ceiling, and then rotate over your ear. Reach those fingertips away, rooting yourself down with that right foot. Don't just hang out here. on your left thigh, but be active, pushing off of that thigh. And if you'd like to progress this pose, you can slide that left hand down to the outside of your foot, or once again, grab a block if that's more comfortable for you. Let's take 2. Exhale. And one more breath. Exhale. Reach that right arm up. Pull yourself up from your core. Straighten your left leg and bring it back to parallel. Deep breath. And exhale, step or jump back to Tadasana again. Take a deep breath here. And when you're ready, other side. Again, step or jump wide. Have your block handy if you'd like to use it on this side. We'll turn our right foot 90 degrees towards the short end of your mat. We'll turn our left foot in 45 degrees. Our hips are still facing the long edge of our mat. Looking out over those right fingertips. Bend that right knee towards the direction of your toes. Trying to get your knee over your ankle. Engage all those muscles in your thighs. Stand tall. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your right elbow onto that right thigh this time. Stretching that left arm up over your ear. Roll your shoulder blades towards each other. If you can, looking up under your arm at the ceiling. Be active in that right arm, pushing off of that thigh. If it's comfortable for you, you can slide that right hand down to the floor on the outside of that knee, or perhaps use a block here. Long side angle stretch. And let's hold for 2. And 1. Exhale, swing that left arm back. Engage your core, pull yourself back up to standing. Straighten that right leg, bring it back to parallel. Deep breath. And step or jump back to mountain pose again. And take a big breath here. Moving on into Veerabhadrasana 1, also known as Warrior 1. Let's come back to standing wide. Once again, let's turn our left foot 90 degrees. And we'll turn our right foot 45-degree angle. Or maybe bring it up a little bit more for Warrior 1. You want to get your hips to the short end of your mat. Bending that left knee, pushing your right hip forward and your left hip back. Bringing your arms up. If you'd like, palms together. Tailbone down, engage that core. Really squeezing the muscles in that right leg to push your right hip forward. And look up at the ceiling if that's comfortable for you. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Really straightening that right leg for support. 1 more breath. And exhale. Straighten that left leg. Turn your foot back to the long edge of your mat. Lower your arms. Deep breath. Come back to Tadasana. And breathe. Other side. Open your legs and your arms nice and wide again. As wide as your wrists. Turn that right foot this time 90 degrees. Turn your back foot 45 degrees. Maybe a little bit more so you can get your hips squared to the short edge of your mat again. Bending that right knee in the direction of your toes. Bring your arms up. If you can, bringing your palms together and looking up at the ceiling. Pull that right hip back. Push that left hip forward. Engage your core. Tailbone down. Nice, strong left leg. Let's take 3 breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Maybe bend a little deeper. And exhale, straighten that leg. Turn your foot parallel. Open your arms again. Deep breath. And stepping or jumping back to Tadasana. Moving on to Veerabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Again, step or jump wide. Left foot, 90 degrees. Turn your right foot, 45 degrees. This time, keeping your hips in the same direction of the long edge of your mat. Arms out wide, shoulders down, reach those fingertips away. Bend that left knee over those toes without leaning. Trying to keep your body perpendicular to the floor. Then turn your head, look out over the horizon, over those left fingers. Watch your knees so that it's not rolling inward, but reaching it more over your ankle in the direction of that middle toe. Strong back leg. Engage your glutes, engage your thighs there. Let's take 2 more breaths. Belly in, engage your core. And 1. And exhale. Straighten that left leg. Turn your foot back parallel and step or hop back to Tadasana again. Take a deep breath. And exhale. And other side. When you're ready, step or jump wide as your wrists. Once again, turn that right foot 90 degrees. Turn your left foot 45 degrees. Make sure your hips don't turn to the short end of your mat this time, keeping them open to the long end of your mat. Bend that right knee 90 degrees towards the middle of your foot. Reach those fingertips away. Shoulder blades towards each other, belly in, tailbone down. Taking a second to make sure that your heels are in line with each other, or at the very least, heel in line with the instep of your back foot. Calm your mind, deep breath. And 2, strong legs, strong core. After your last exhale, let's straighten that right leg. Turn that foot parallel. Deep breath. And step or jump your feet together. Tadasana again. Take a deep breath. Moving into pyramid pose, Parsvakonasana, also called intense side stretch. Once again, step or jump your feet wide. Let me adjust my mat here for a second. Getting a little crooked. This time, as wide as your wrists, if not just slightly less. Turn that left foot 90 degrees. Turn that right foot 45-degree angle, and then adjust that back heel so your hips can once again turn to the short end of your mat. This time, reaching your arms up, pushing that right hip forward, pulling that left hip back, and exhale, forward folding over that left leg. Either bringing your hands down to the floor or on blocks. If you need to add a couple inches, really feeling that stretch up the back of your left leg. But rooting yourself into the floor with that right foot. If you're feeling this more on the side here, try facing your chest to the floor and really pulling that left hip back to get your hips square to the front edge of your mat. And as you exhale, forward folding over that left leg. Either leaving your hands here on the floor, or if it's in your practice, grabbing your elbows behind you, lengthen your spine a little bit, and then exhale, forward fold again. If you can easily grab your elbows, maybe you would like to try reverse prayer. Bring your hands together, lengthen that spine, and then exhale, forward fold. Strong legs. Deep breath. One more. And exhale, release those hands down to the floor. Lifting your chest, standing tall. Turn that left foot back parallel again. Come back to Tadasana. Pardon the interruption of the airplanes flying overhead. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready, other side, step or jump your legs wide again. Have your blocks handy. Turn your right foot 90 degrees and turn your left foot 45 degrees. Maybe shift your heel back a little bit more so you can get your hips squared to the front edge of your mat. Strong, straight legs. Lift your spine. Engage that core. Arms up. And exhale, forward fold over that right leg. Either bringing your palms to the floor, or once again, you can use blocks here. Get your hips squared. Maybe make any adjustments to your back foot if needed to shorten the space here. Pull that right hip back, push that left hip forward. Lengthen your spine. Really feeling that all in your right leg. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, pick your head up, lengthen that spine again. And then fold forward once more. If you feel it's in your practice today to pick your hands up off of the floor, you can grab your elbows behind you. Or once again, attempt reverse prayer hands. And let's take 3 breaths. And 2. And 1. Exhale, release those hands to the floor. Pick your head up, engage your core, standing nice and tall. Open those arms again, bring those feet back parallel, and step or jump back to Tadasana. Take a deep breath. This time, step or jump your feet as wide as your fingertips, even wider than before. Have your blocks handy at the front of your mat. We'll go into Prasarita, Vadokanasana, wide leg forward bend. Arms up, standing star, long spine. Engage your core once again, tailbone down. Inhale and exhale, wide leg forward fold at the hips, as low as your body allows. If you can bring your head all the way down to the floor, that's great. But if not, you can always utilize some blocks here to rest your forehead. And just leave your hands on the floor. Or if you can, maybe your forearms. But nice straight legs here. Relax your upper back. Standing strong with those legs. And the wider the legs, the better. Keeping your feet parallel. Let's take 3 breaths here. And 2. And 1. Exhale, pushing yourself halfway up. And then with a big sweep of the arms, engage your core, pull yourself back up. And heel toe those feet in underneath you. Coming back to Tadasana once again. Standing tall. Deep breath here. One more pose in our standing pose section. And we've done it before. It's Uttanasana again, big forward fold that we did in our Surya Namaskar A and B section. So inhale those arms up, tailbone down, engage your core. Feet right underneath your hips, and then forward fold at the waist. All the way down to the floor. If you can, bringing your hands to the floor. If you want to take this pose a little bit deeper, you can even wrap your hands around the back of your ankles for a deep forward fold over those thighs. If your hips are really tight here, you can give yourself a soft, gentle bend in the knees. Lengthen the spine, and then forward fold, bringing your chest onto your thighs. If that's a little bit more comfortable in your hips. Let's take 3 breaths here. Another option is to hook your fingers around your big toes, or placing those hands underneath your feet, lengthening your spine, and then letting those elbows go out to the side as you deepen that forward bend. One more breath. And exhale, release those hands and those feet and those toes. Engage your core, arms out to the side, reverse that swan dive all the way back up. And exhale, back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Deep breath. And relax. Shake out your knees, shake out your feet. We'll move on to some transition poses. So turning back to the short edge of your mat again, moving your blocks, one on each side. Let's come down on all fours, quadruped, wrists under shoulders, and knees right under hips. For our first pose, we'll come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, which is downward dog, which we did in the beginning of our practice. Curling your toes under, take a deep inhale, and exhale those hips up and back for a downward dog again. Push the floor away with the heels of your hands, and reaching the heels of your feet towards the floor. Maybe take a moment to walk your dog, pedal your feet, nice and slow, one at a time. Maybe come up on your toes, pull your heels back down. And if your heels don't reach the floor, that's okay. You can give a soft bend in your knees here. Another option is to take a block, place a block under each of your hands to shorten the chain and therefore help your heels reach the floor. Still pushing away with the heels of your hands, drawing your shoulder blades towards each other, down your back. Nice long spine. Keeping your feet hip distance apart and parallel to the outside edges of your mat. Notice when you pull your heels away, you really activate those muscles in your outer thighs. So either using blocks or no blocks. Maybe give your head a shake. And then let's find stillness for 3 breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Exhale. Come up on your toes, walk your feet up towards your hands. Let's inhale, half lift. Lengthen that spine. Exhale, forward fold again to Uttanasana. Inhale, reverse that swan dive all the way back up. Arda Gustasana. And exhale, Tadasana once more. Sitting down on your mat. Coming into Dandasana, staff pose, long spine. Take a deep breath here. And then crossing those ankles. Next, we'll come into Virasana. I'll turn to the short edge of my mat so you can see better. If you can, keeping your knees together but separating your feet so your heels are on the outside edges of your hips. If this is too much on your legs, you can take a block, place it right underneath your tailbone, and give yourself a couple inches because ideally we want a long spine. So either sitting on a block or two if you need even more leverage. We'll come into Virasana, hero's pose, intending to keep your knees together, feet outside of your hips, tailbone down, belly in. Relax in those hips so they can sink down. And either bring your hands onto your thighs, or you can bring your hands to prayer. Ujjayi mantra. And maybe soften your eyes here. Shoulders down, engage your core. Let's take 3 breaths. Letting those hips soften with each exhale. Let's take one more breath. Exhale, release those hands and open those eyes again. Coming out of hero's pose, coming back to quadruped, and then crossing your ankles and sitting in Dandasana once again. Staff pose, long spine. Engage those muscles in your legs, shoulders down. And next we'll come into boat pose, sitting back on your tailbone, on your leaning back, lifting those legs. If you have to, you can bend those knees, holding the backs of those thighs, and then straightening those legs. Or if you can, just lean back, palms on the floor, elevate those legs to chest height. Keep squeezing those inner thighs together and extend your arms if possible, or just hold the backs of your legs. Boat pose, Navasana. Let's take 3 breaths. Exhale. Lift, lift, squeeze those thighs together. And 2. 1 more. Coming into Arda Navasana, half boat. Lower your legs a little bit, leaning back a little bit more. and hold for 3. Still engaged in those core and still squeezing those thighs together. 1 more breath. And exhale. Sit back up. Coming back to Dandasana, staff pose once again. Deep breath. Making our way into some hip openers, into forward bends. First we'll do Supta Pad Gustasana, which is reclining hand to big toe pose. Stretch nice and long on your mat. Give your body a nice stretch. And I like to bring my forehead up towards my knees. That feels good. Little rock back and forth. And stretching those legs towards the ceiling. Maybe a couple little foot circles here. Really stretching the backs of those hamstrings. And this is where you might want to use a belt. If you have really tight hamstrings, make a small loop. We'll start with our right leg. So placing that belt around your right foot. Stretch that left leg long on the floor. Engage your core here. And pull that right leg forward towards your head. Drop your head to the floor. Either staying here and holding that belt, or if you can manage, hooking your fingers around that big toe. So not using a belt here. Pulling that right leg towards your chest. Out, stretching that left arm on the floor. Be active still here in all parts of your body. Stretch out that left leg. Stretch that right leg. Belly in. Let's take 2 more breaths. And 1. If it's in your practice here, you could also next rotate in that right hip and send that right leg out to the side, either still utilizing a belt or keeping those fingers hooked around that big toe. Be mindful that your left hip is not popping off of the floor. Maybe place your hand there as a reminder to keep pulling that left hip down into the floor. And you can hold there for a couple more breaths as well. Using that inner thigh to pull that right leg back up. Release that foot. Send that right leg nice and long. And sitting up nice and tall in Dandasana again. Hands on the mat, legs nice and long. And we'll go into the other side when you're ready. Lower yourself back down onto your mat. Engage your core, legs nice and long. This time, bending your left knee, keeping your right leg nice and long. If you're utilizing a belt, place that belt around that foot and then straighten that leg towards the ceiling. Pull that left thigh towards your chest. If you're not utilizing a belt today, hook those 2 fingers around your big toe. Straighten that leg. Get a nice stretch up the back of that left hamstring. Lower your head to the floor. Open that right arm out to the side. Pull that right shoulder, pull your left shoulder towards the floor so you're not letting your leg lift your chest up. Pull that left shoulder blade towards the floor. Stretch out that left leg. Be active in your right leg as well, active in your core. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And 1. Option to rotate that left hip open and sending that leg out to the side. Being mindful of that right hip here. One more breath. Engage those thigh muscles. Use that inner thigh. Pull that leg back up. Release your foot. Lower your leg. And engage your core. Sitting up nice and tall. Coming back to Dandasana. Sass pose again. Good job. Let's stay here in staff pose. Your hands on the mat. Feet nice and long. Point those toes. Engage your core. Pull your tailbone down to the floor. Reach the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Still breathing into your belly. Shoulders down. Let's take 1 more breath. Nice, slow exhale. Good job. From Dandasana, let's go into Vadokanasana, which is bound angle pose, also sometimes called butterfly pose. Bringing your feet together, the bottoms of your feet, and pulling your heels close in towards your pelvic bone. Lengthen your spine, sitting up nice and tall, and knees going out to the side. As much as what's comfortable for you. If your knees are up here, that's okay. Just make sure that you're not rounding your back and pulling your belly in. Extend your spine. Reach with your chest. Look up at the ceiling. And then exhale. Fold forward at the hip. Over those feet. As low as what's comfortable for yourself today. Pick your head up, lengthen your spine again, opening those hips. And then maybe with a little help from your elbows, you can press against those inner thighs as you try to open up your hips even more. Let's take 3 breaths here. With each exhale, relaxing your hips and lengthening your spine. Still breathing into your belly. 1 more breath. After your exhale, pick your gaze up. Use that core to sit back up nice and tall again. And from there, stretching your left leg out, and then your right leg. Come back to Dandasana. Shake out those toes. I always like a couple foot circles. And we'll move into Janu Shirsasana. Bending that right leg, your right knee. Bring your right foot to your inner left thigh. Open your knee a little bit. Then turning those hips so you're squared off again to that left leg. Inhale your arms up. And exhale, fold forward towards that left foot. Either reaching your feet, reaching your fingers around your big toe to fall forward, or interlocking your fingers at the base of your foot. If that's easy for you, you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can place a block at the base of your foot to give yourself a couple more inches. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward over that left knee. Being mindful to pull that right shoulder forward, pull that left hip back so you're not open to the side wall. So really getting your hips squared over that left leg. Keeping your sits bones down on the floor. Take 3 breaths here. And exhale, pick your head up. Engage that core to sit up nice and tall again. Stretch out that right leg again, coming back to Dandasana, your starting pose. And then when you're ready, opening that right leg nice and wide, bring your left foot to your right inner thigh. Turning your hips so they're squared off to that right foot. Long spine, engage your core again, right leg nice and long. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward towards that right foot. Again, this time reaching your left shoulder towards that right foot. And pulling your right hip back. Getting a nice stretch up the back of that right hamstring. And once again, utilizing a block here if you'd like to give yourself a couple more inches. Or hooking your fingers around your big toe. Lengthen your spine, fold forward. Let's take 3 breaths. After your last exhale, pick your gaze up. Use that core to sit up nice and tall. Stretch that left leg forward again, coming back to Dandasana. And lastly, for our forward bends, hip openers section, coming to Parsvakonasana. I'll turn this way again. Starting again in Dandasana, staff pose. Long spine, engage that core. Having your belt handy if you need to reach your feet that way, or blocks. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold at the waist. Deep seated forward bend, reaching for those feet. Hooking your fingers around your big toes if possible. Lengthen your spine. And then exhale, let those elbows drop down to the side as you forward fold over those legs. Getting a nice deep stretch up your lumbar spine and up the back of your hamstrings. If you have trouble straightening your legs here while you're holding onto your toes, you can give a soft bend in your knees. Reach for your toes and still lengthen your spine. If that's a little easier in your hips. And then after a couple breaths, as your body relaxes, you might find that you can straighten your legs. If you'd like to go with the belt route, placing a belt around your feet, using a belt, keeping your legs straight and forward folding towards those feet, but trying not to round your back. Try to lengthen your spine and get a deep stretch up your lumbar spine and up the back of your hamstrings. Let's hold for 2 more breaths. And exhale. Pick your gaze up. Use your core to sit up nice and tall again, coming back to Dandasana. And release. Next, we'll come into our back bends section. And this is where a blanket or a couple folded towels will come in handy. Placing that at the back of your mat. Actually, coming into locust pose first. We won't need the blanket just yet. Coming down onto your belly. Let's give yourself a nice stretch first. Reach those arms up. Reach those legs away. Maybe shake out your hips a little bit. Towel out of the way. So coming into locust pose, Shalabhasana, bringing your hands down by your hips, your forehead on the mat. Coming into locust pose, we're going to engage our core, stretch those toes away, reach our fingertips away from our ears as we lift our chest and lift our feet. Keep reaching, reaching, reaching. Engage your core, pressing your pelvic bone into the floor. Let's take 3 breaths. Don't hold your breath. And exhale. Lengthen your spine out through the crown of your head, squeezing those legs together. One more breath. And exhale, release. Stack your hands, bring your forehead onto your hands for a moment. And when you're ready, we'll do that one more time. Bringing your hands down by your side and your forehead to the floor. On your inhale, squeezing those legs and those feet, lifting your chest, engage your core, reach those fingertips away. And breathe. Exhale. One more breath. Reach, lift, and exhale. Lower back down. Stack your hands again. Rest your forehead. Maybe bend at the knees and windshield wiper those legs if that feels good to you. Pushing yourself back up to quadruped again. On all fours. Cross those ankles and get those legs back out in front of you in Dandasana once more. For our next back bend, we'll take it a little deeper and we'll go into Sadhubanda, Sarvangasana, which is bridge pose. Adjust my mat in a moment. Getting a little bit too close to that chair. Having your yoga blanket or some other kind of blanket or towels handy. Place it at the short end of your mat, up by your head, to support your upper back and your cervical spine. And lay down on your mat. Having that blanket or towels right underneath your upper back and your shoulder blades. Bringing your feet hip distance apart. up towards your glutes with your hands down by your hips, grazing your heels with your fingertips here. Take a deep breath. Long exhale. And when you're ready, engage your core, roll up, lifting your hips up off of the floor, squeezing your inner thighs together and pushing into the floor with those feet. Either leaving your hands down by your heels or rolling your shoulders under, clasping your hands underneath you. Keep lifting your hips, pulling your inner thighs together. Either staying here for 3 more breaths, or if you feel that it's in your practice today, bending at the elbows, getting your hands right behind your mid to low back. Either staying there for 3 breaths, or if it's comfortable for you, stretching your legs out nice and long. Keep squeezing those inner thighs together and keep lifting those hips, not collapsing into your hands, but just using them for support. Let's take 2 more breaths. And 1. Exhale, good. If your legs are straight, bend at the knee, bring your feet back to the floor, releasing your hands, untucking those shoulders, and with control, slowly lowering your hips back down to the mat. Stretch those legs out nice and long. Stretch your arms up overhead. Give yourself a nice morning stretch. And pulling yourself back up or using your hands, come back up to Dandasana. We'll come into a couple twist poses. Sliding that blanket out of the way. We'll come into Veerabhadrasana 1 first for the sage Veerabhadrasana. Let's bring our right feet over to our right hip and tuck that left foot right into the bottom of your right foot arch. Long spine, tailbone down, lengthen your spine, standing tall with the crown of your head. Reach those arms out, open wide, and then turning in the opposite direction of your feet. Bringing your left hand behind you and your right hand to your outer left thigh. Looking back over that left shoulder. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Still lengthening that spine, being mindful that you're not collapsing yourself into that left hand, but still lengthening and shoulders down. After your last exhale, turning your head back forward and then slowly releasing that twist. Untuck your legs. Sit in Dandasana again for a moment. Stretch out that spine. Deep breath. And when you're ready, swing those legs over to the other side. Arms out wide again. Lengthen your spine. Think about pulling that left hip down onto the floor. And then turning to the right, bringing your right hand behind you this time. And your left hand on your outer right knee. And if it's comfortable for you, looking over that right shoulder. still breathing into your belly. Let's take 2 more breaths. After your last exhale, turning your head back forward again, releasing that twist and bringing your legs back to Dandasana, our starting point again. For your next twist, we'll come into Marichyasana 3 for the sage, Marichi. I'll turn this way on my mat, leaving my left leg nice and long, bringing my right knee up towards my chest and planting the foot on the floor. Make sure you're not rolling over onto that left hip. And if you need to, you can also take a blanket here and elevate that right hip a little bit more, if that helps you to sit up nice and tall. Stretching those arms up. This time turning towards that right knee, bringing your right hand behind you and hugging that right knee in towards your chest. Looking over that right shoulder. This is a closed twist. You're pulling yourself towards that knee. If it's comfortable for you, you can place your elbow on the outside of this knee, lengthen that spine, fingers towards the ceiling, and looking over that right shoulder. Engage all the muscles in your left leg too, flexing that foot nice and long, being mindful that you're not collapsing into that right hand and rounding your back. Breathe into your belly. For 2. And 1. Look back towards your feet. Release that right knee. Stretch out that right leg again. Sit up nice and tall. And shake out those feet. Shake out those legs. And we'll go into our other side. Right leg nice and long. Bending the left knee, bringing it up towards your chest. I'll turn this way. Sitting up nice and tall, reach those arms up, then turning towards that left knee, reach that left hand behind you, lengthen your spine. Either pulling that knee into your chest with that right arm or placing that elbow on the outside of that knee. Again, being mindful that you're not rounding your back, pulling your belly in, but lengthening your spine. Being active in that right leg. Deep breath. Engage your core. Keep your chest lifted. 1 more. And after you exhale, turn your head back towards your feet. Release that knee, untwist, and stretch out that left leg again. Good job. And we'll start to cool down. Let's do Paschimottanasana 1 more time, which is a deep seated forward bend. Again, coming into Dandasana. Lengthen your spine, staff pose, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale those arms up, Arda Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward towards those feet again. Hooking those fingers around your big toes if you can. Lengthening your spine as you inhale. And then exhale, folding forward over those legs. Let's take 3 more breaths. If you need to, again, you can give yourself a gentle bend in your knees. Just to make sure you're lengthening your spine, pulling your chest onto your thighs. After that last exhale, picking your gaze up, pulling yourself back up to staff pose, Dandasana. So I gave you a couple more breaths there as another plane went overhead. Turning on your mat, or however you're comfortable, come to an easy seat, easy cross-legged position, either Salasana or, if you'd like to, Arda Padmasana or Padmasana, lotus or half lotus. And we'll do some Ujjayi Pranayama. So breath work, breath of life, breathing, inhaling and exhaling out of your nose for equal counts. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's bring our hands to prayer. Pressing your palms together. Soften or close your eyes. Relax all the muscles in your face. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue. Let's take a deep inhale for 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Inhale. Exhale. Do a couple more rounds at your own pace. Inhale. And after your last exhale, allowing your breath to return back to its natural state. And bring your hands to your knees. Take a deep breath. And either keeping your eyes soft or opening your eyes and getting ready for Shavasana. Uncross your legs. And taking your time to lay down on your mat again and getting whatever you need to feel comfortable. If you'd like to wrap yourself in a blanket or put a blanket behind your head. Take a few moments here to calm your body, calm your mind for all the hard work that you just did. Relax your hands down by your hips. Maybe take a deep stretch first if you'd like to. whatever you need to get ready for your corpse pose and your Shavasana. And then when you're ready to rest, lengthen your spine, soften your eyes, or close them entirely. Relax all the muscles in your face. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue. Relax your entire body. Let your nervous system calm itself down and repair itself. And you're welcome to pause the video here and take Shavasana for as long as you'd like. Allow your body to rest. If your mind is still wandering about, just come to your breath, counting the beats of your inhales and the beats of your exhales. Leaving the outside world outside. Slowly bringing your energy back to your body. Take a deep breath. Maybe a little wiggle of your fingers and toes as you find some movement again. Maybe a stretch if it feels good to you. And still keeping your eyes soft and tuned in. When you have the will to move, roll onto your side. And stay here with your eyes closed for a few breaths. Take notice of how your body feels now. How you feel physically and mentally and energetically. Maybe a little smile to yourself. And when you're ready, I invite you to sit back up to a comfortable seated position again. You can keep your eyes soft. And just resting your hands on your knees. Take a couple breaths here. Honoring your practice, your commitment to your practice, loving the energy that you are, and bringing awareness to your ability to change your energy and the energy of people around you. Remembering at times we need to take deep breaths and slow down. And take time for yourself. I invite you to bring your palms together. Take a big inhale. And exhale. Bow your head, fold forward. Thank yourself for practicing today. I thank you for joining me today. Again, I'm Jenna Sass. Namaste. I hope you'll join me again. Bye.